Well, this trade war with the U.S. has been given many reasons, but it was this comment from the Prime Minister yesterday that raised concern again about the notion of a 51st state.
So we actually have to fold back on the one thing he has said repeatedly, that what he wants is to see a total collapse of the Canadian economy, because that'll make it easier to annex us.
So sources tell the Globe and Mail U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has said comments like these and others that Trudeau made yesterday, including calling Trump's tariffs dumb, were seen as personal attacks against the president. For a closer look at why this is happening and the Prime Minister's comments about annexation, we've contacted Frank McKenna, former Canadian ambassador to the U.S., who is joining us from Calgary, Alberta this morning. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning.
My first question, do you share the Prime Minister's view on why Trump has imposed these tariffs? Do you think it's ultimately because of annexation?
Well, first of all, it's rather rich to be criticizing the Prime Minister for his language when he's being called Governor Trudeau and has been for some month now by President Trump. Look, Prime Minister Trudeau is well informed. If he thinks that's the motivation, there's probably good reason for it. There are at least 3 or 4 other explanations. But I would say 2 or 3 things. First of all, if annexation's the goal, spoiler alert, it's not going to happen. There is a resolve in this country like I've never seen before. It's quite incredible. And I know, we all know the United States is a lot bigger than we are. But it's not about how big you are. It's about the pain threshold that you have. And we've got a very high pain threshold when it comes to protecting our homeland. Every poll in the United States shows that at least 2/3 of Americans don't even know why they're fighting with Canada. And that's before tariffs even go on. So I think they've got a very low threshold for pain. We're going to do whatever we have to do with solidarity from coast to coast. And we will win this fight. Secondly, very quickly, we've got an NAFTA arrangement with the United States. Right now, just about all of our commodities go straight down to the United States, whether it's oil or everything else, guided by NAFTA. And I would just say to the United States, why would you try to steal the cow when you can get the milk for free? Just seems like a ridiculous waste of time and effort when you've got this extraordinary North American market, which is the largest in the world right at the present time.
And I believe that the president knows all of those things that you're saying, yet he insists on changing the rules and operating by his own accord. You know, you talk about, well, we have a deal in place, but he doesn't want that deal, and he's made these moves because he doesn't want that deal. I also want to ask you about annexation, and just getting back to that for a moment, because I think that concerned a lot of people. We've heard this mixed messaging from Canadian officials on the 51st state comments. It was first dismissed as a joke by the federal cabinet ministers in December, and then Trudeau made international headlines for saying Trump's threat is a real thing, privately to business leaders last month, and then that became public. He had said that Trump wants to access our critical minerals. You have Bill Blair saying, look, it is not a serious threat. You have Dominic LeBlanc meeting with Lutnick saying that, you know, I had to stress that we are a sovereign nation. What are Canadians supposed to believe about this idea of annexation? Because it's one thing to be in a trade war. You know, people are starting to talk about, are they going to come across the border? Are we going to see federal troops?
Well, the straight answer is no. We're not going to see any of those things. I think he may feel like he can weaken us economically, and as a result of that, end up creating a greater bargain with us on various issues which concern him. But no, none of those things are going to happen. And by the way, there are other explanations as well. One is that he just wants the money. Remember, a tariff is a tax, and he can't tax in the U.S. because Republicans are totally opposed to taxation, yet he needs money in order to lower taxes. It's kind of a reverse Robin Hood there. He wants to he wants to tax the poor and pay off the rich, and he needs tariffs to do that. So the tariffs are just a form of taxation. Think of it that way. And the third and fourth examples I hear from other people, one is that he simply wants to take America's best friend and punch it in the nose just to show other countries in the world what can happen to them if they don't get in line. The fourth one, and one that I probably find more interesting, is described by Andrew Coyne in the Globe and Mail as a malignant narcissism, which is magnetizing, and that is a pathology where this individual needs constant attention. craving attention, needs to be able to say every day, look at me, look what I've done. And it may be that we're just happen to be on the list right now, and he'll move on to other things.
Well, it doesn't seem in the present, at least, that he's looking to move on to other things, nor does he respond to any kind of name calling. He just keeps slapping on tariffs. Frank McKenna, former Canadian ambassador to the United States, great to have your perspective this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.